Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Friday, June 22nd, and this is the MLB DFS video for today. So in today's video, since we haven't had a video in a couple days since we did have the All-Star break, and then yesterday was a small 3-game slate, so didn't want to go over that one too much in terms of cheat sheet or core picks video, just because it was such a small player pool and a very limited contest overall. But now that it's Friday, back at a 13-game main slate, we'll be back with the core picks as well as my top GPP stacks for today. Not going to do a recap since it's been quite a few days because of the All-Star break and everything else like that. But without further ado, we'll get into it. The core picks for today. So we're going to start off with the pitcher position at Zach Gallen at $8,100. He is averaging about 29 fantasy points per game on the season. At this point in time, he is a very, very good pay down option on a slate that has a ton of high upside, expensive pitchers. So if you want to get different on this slate, I think Zach Gallen's definitely a good way to do that. He has decent history versus these Washington Nationals hitters, although it is very limited history at that. He gave up a home run to Juan Soto in his career, but other than that, he's pitched very well against the Washington Nationals hitters overall. Then we're going to move down to second baseman Jose Altuve. He has $4,000, was dealing with a little bit of injury prior to the All-Star break, didn't play in the All-Star game because of that, just give him some extra time to heal. But he did play in both games of the doubleheader yesterday, so I'm not too concerned about him. He's 10 for 33 with one home run versus Marco Gonzalez in his career, so does offer some upside today. Average about 12 fantasy points per game on the season so far. Then we move down to his teammate Alex Bregman at third base, $3,000, average about 10 fantasy points per game on the season. One of probably the safer plays today, one of probably my favorite third base play overall today in terms of history and everything else like that. Alex Bregman, 10 for 35 versus Marco Gonzalez in his career, does not have a home run versus him, but maybe changes that today. Then we're going to move down to our outfielders. We got Austin Hayes at $2,900. He's averaging just under 10 fantasy points per game on the season. Goes against Jameson Taillon today. He is 6 for 11 versus him in his career. So some pretty good history there. Hitting over 500, obviously. No home runs yet, but maybe changes that once again today. Then last but not least, we have Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who is $2,600, averaging just under 9 fantasy points per game on the season. This is kind of an upside play. He was starting to hit the ball a little bit better prior to the All-Star break, and he is 5 for 16 with 2 home runs in his career versus Nathan Eovaldi. So there's definitely some upside there, some downside as well. But if he hits that upside, going to be a guy that you want in your lineup once again today. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have here, you'll have $14,400 remaining, $3,600 per player. So definitely some good pay up options on today's slate. I think if first base, you could probably look at Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's actually $3,600. Then you have 3 positions left for about $3,600. Maybe you go to Tim Anderson at shortstop at $3,200. You pay up in the outfield, and then you got whatever you have left for your utility spot, and you have a pretty solid lineup altogether today. So that's probably going to be one that I'm going to do myself. It's a good slate to mix and match, especially with there being 13 games overall. And then with that being said, we'll give over to my top GPP stacks for today. At the time of this recording, my article is not yet published. Once it is published, I'll leave that link down in the comments below. But in terms of the top GPP stacks that I do have for today, I have the Toronto Blue Jays going against Nathan Eovaldi of the Boston Red Sox. These Blue Jays hitters have hit him pretty well throughout their respective careers. Maybe it's a game that Eovaldi comes out strong, but I would still favor the Blue Jays side of this game overall. Then we move down to the Seattle Mariners. They have hit Jose Urquidy very, very well throughout his career, so definitely have a ton of interest in these Mariners hitters today. On the opposite side of the game, definitely have a ton of interest in these Astros hitters as well, as I already mentioned with Jose Altuve and Alex Bregman being core picks. So that's a pretty good game to target today. Could be some runs scored and could be some upside for these hitters on both sides of this game. And then last but not least, I do have the Texas Rangers going against Cole Irvin. Not a ton of history here, but some of the history that they do have against Cole Irvin has been pretty good. So not afraid to go to guys like Marcus Semien, Nate Lowe if he ends up starting. Couple different options there. Obviously, Adolis Garcia had a home run yesterday. You could go back to him today if you really want to do so. So a lot of different options out there today. As I already mentioned, it's a 13-game slate, so a very large slate. So feel free to mix and match once again. But with that being said, these are my core picks as well as top GPP stacks for today, July 22nd. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on today's slate, whether it's someone from my core 5 picks, whether it's someone from my top GPP stacks, or whether it's a completely different player you guys think I missed. There's definitely a chance that it could be with the large 13-game slate overall. Definitely interested in hearing what you have to say. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig's Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, mainly MLB at this point in time. But once we get back around to the NFL and NBA regular seasons, I'll be covering those 2 sports as well. And then with that being said, if you are newer current subscribers yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily MLB DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.